Diddy has just been named in a federal lawsuit connected to the murder of Tupac Shakur. Diddy has just been accused in an FBI investigation of paying $1 million to have Tupac killed. Diddy has just been called out by Tupac's brother, Tupac Shakur, who even hired a private investigator to dig deeper. Diddy has just been linked to new whispers that 50 Cent is allegedly stepping in too.
I told you you can't trust these. Now Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
Puffy's a sucker, man.
Oh wait, maybe I said it to my brother because he got Tupac killed.
On September 29, 2023, nearly 27 years after Tupac's murder, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was charged for his role in the drive-by shooting. On September 29, 2023, Keefe filed papers in a Nevada court claiming that Diddy was actually the one behind Tupac's death. On September 29, 2023, he alleged Diddy paid for the hit, and Eric Von Zip Martin acted as the middleman. On September 29, 2023, reports say Diddy allegedly wanted both Tupac and Suge Knight dead. On September 29, 2023, Keefe also said he never got paid because Von Zip kept all the money.
The three LAPD and FBI agents were part of a task force to solve the shooting of rapper Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, legal name Christopher Wallace. The task force, through a sophisticated criminal investigation, obtained sufficient evidence that would prove Mr. Davis was the leader of the Southside Crips and his gang was responsible for over 360 kilos of cocaine and PCP. Mr. Davis provided 3 interviews to obtain immunity from prosecution. The final interview were solely questions regarding the Tupac Shakur shooting, which Mr. Davis was also provided immunity from prosecution. So during a December 2008 interview with investigators, that is when Davis allegedly started to spill the beans about his one-time friend, Sean Combs, who he refers to as Puffy. He claims Sean Puffy Combs solicited Mr. Davis to kill Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur for $1 million. Eric Zip Martin, an associate of Puffy Combs, provided Mr. Davis with a gun to exact revenge on Tupac Shakur for the beating Mr. Anderson received. Now, Davis reportedly told the investigators that even though the job had been partially completed and Shakur was killed, neither he nor Anderson ever got paid. He later revealed that he believes Combs had paid the go-between Zip Martin, who he claims kept the money for himself. And he said much of the same thing in a 2009 interview a year later, because according to the motion to dismiss, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, as far back as 2009, was in possession of the same set of facts that the Clark County District Attorney is now alleging makes Mr. Davis responsible for the murder of Tupac Shakur. The Clark County District Attorney's Office has offered no reason as to why it waited another 14 years to prosecute a case against Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis has been irreversibly prejudiced by this unnecessary delay in prosecution of this case, and Mr. Davis's constitutional rights have been violated in an extraordinary manner never before witnessed in the annals of the American criminal justice system.
Following Keefe D's claims, Tupac's family has started their own investigation into the murder. Following Keefe D's claims, they hired lawyer Alex Spiro, and Tupac's brother Tupac Shakur gave a statement saying he is suspicious of Diddy. Following Keefe D's claims, Eminem, 50 Cent, and many others in the rap game have hinted for years about Diddy's involvement. Following Keefe D's claims, now with Diddy behind bars and unable to pull the strings, it looks like the truth might finally come out.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. We are following new developments in the case of the hip-hop mogul who is facing RICO charges in New York, Sean P. Diddy Combs. Court TV has just confirmed that the family of Tupac Shakur is investigating a potential link between the murder of Tupac and Sean Diddy Combs. This coming from attorney Alex Spiro, who represents Tupac's family. Now, this investigation had been previously reported by unnamed sources, but earlier today, Spiro confirmed to our Court TV team that he and a team of investigators has been hired.
Sean Combs allegedly had business dealings with Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who will go on trial next March for the murder of Tupac. This was back in 1996. Some have speculated that Diddy ordered Tupac's death. That, of course, is just a theory at this point, and we are monitoring the developments in both the Tupac murder trial and the federal indictment of Sean Diddy Combs. So a lot of information to come on that one.
In the case that continues to roll on, let's bring in National Trial Attorney Michael Schaefer just to talk about this new news of an investigative team that has been hired by Tupac's family. We don't have more details about what they found so far and exactly what avenues they are taking to do that, but what does that say to you? What do you think is happening, and how serious is this when someone hires an investigative team in a murder trial that's being handled by authorities, but this is a private entity requesting this?
Julia, I always say, landslides don't happen slowly, right? You'll be standing on the side of a mountain admiring its beauty and glamour, and then 1 second later, you're buried in mud, right? This does not shock me. This does not surprise me. I can promise you this is not the last thing that we find out about people investigating Diddy and what he's done. This is not the first. We know of an attorney now who represents hundreds of families who are suing him for, alleged, freak-offs and sexual misconduct. So what this tells me is that it's just a piling on. Pretty much people knew for decades what we're going to start finding out things that people have speculated on for decades, and they're just going to pile on, because at the end of the day, how's he going to defend himself at this point? He's got a ton of money, he's got a ton of attorneys, but even if you have unlimited money and unlimited resources, if you are sued, by, 100 different people, 100 different times, 100 different theories, at the end of the day, you as a professional defendant operating from a jail cell, you cannot overcome that. You just can't do it.
The details about this case are shocking and show just how deep the conspiracy might go. The details about this case include Keith D. claiming he has immunity and cannot be prosecuted. The details about this case point to an FBI investigation reportedly proving otherwise. The details about this case allegedly have Diddy worried about his name being tied to Tupac's murder, because he knows the paper trail could prove his involvement.
But during an interview with the FBI in 1999, Davis apparently said something completely different. According to the FBI report, which was included in the motion to dismiss, Anderson was not involved in the shooting death of Tupac Shakur, and neither Davis nor his group killed Shakur or Christopher Wallace, aka Notorious B.I.G. Davis does not know who killed the two rap stars. He believes that either individuals from New York associated with Puffy Combs or individuals associated with Death Row Records could have killed Shakur, and that individuals associated with Death Row Records killed Wallace. Okay, so again, changing stories. And by the way, Davis goes on to say that he was introduced to Combs in the early 90s by a man named Eric Zip Martin. This is another alleged drug dealer. And this is where we get into it. So the report reads, in or around 1992, Martin introduced Davis to Sean Puffy Combs. Davis recalls the introduction occurring at the Paradise nightclub on Santa Monica Boulevard. After speaking with Combs, Davis agreed to allow Combs to use his 1964 Chevy in a music video. The video featured the artist Usher. After the vehicle was damaged in the production of the video, Combs paid $2,500 to have it repaired. And by the way, according to Davis, Combs was scared of Suge Knight. And this was a man who had a reputation for being, sometimes violent and extreme. And that moves us now to this DEA report. So there was a DEA report from a 2008 task force meeting with Davis that was also included as an exhibit in the motion. And in it, Davis talks about the murder of a man named Jai Robles. This is Knight's bodyguard. He was killed in Atlanta in 1995. And according to Davis, he'd heard a rumor that an associate of Combs had killed Robles. The report says Combs requested to speak to Davis and asked Davis if he thought it was safe for Combs to come to Los Angeles for a concert. Combs expressed his concerns about Knight and possible retaliation related to the Robles murder. Davis advised Combs that he would provide 40 or 50 tickets to the concert. Davis could provide an entourage. Combs agreed, and Davis and his crew in fact attended the concert in support of Combs. Davis recalls the concert taking place in Anaheim, California. It was at this event that Combs began to solicit Davis to kill Knight and Shakur. Combs asserted something to the effect of, "I'll give anything for those dudes' heads." Quote, at a later date, Dwayne Davis, Eric Martin, Corey Edwards, Sean Combs, and others met at Greenblatt's restaurant in Hollywood. Well, at the restaurant, Combs summoned Davis into the downstairs area. Combs again told Davis that he needed to get rid of Knight and Shakur. Combs offered Davis $1 million to handle the problem. Davis remembers Combs being very afraid of Knight. So after the car that Knight and Shakur were in was hit by a hail of bullets back in 1996, Davis says that Combs wanted to know if that was the result of him allegedly putting out a hit on Shakur. The task force report states, well, at the restaurant, Martin told Davis that Combs had called Martin and asked, "Was that us?" Davis asked Martin when he would receive compensation for the shooting. Martin told Davis he would get the money when he returns to New York. Additionally, while at the restaurant, Combs called Martin again. Martin then handed the phone to Davis. Combs again inquired, "Was that us?" Davis recalled Combs sounding elated. Now, Davis reportedly told the investigators that even though the job had been partially completed and Shakur was killed, he nor Anderson ever got paid. He later revealed that he believes Combs paid the go-between, again Zimp Martin, who allegedly kept it for himself. So we mentioned a moment ago that an LAPD officer had recorded statements that Davis made in 2008. The state included a transcript of that interview in its filing, and in the transcript, WH refers to Wayne Higgins. This is Davis's lawyer during the interview. Q refers to the questions, and the A's are Davis's answers. Okay, so it says, WH, okay, now go on and ask whatever you want. Q, Puffy Combs. A, yeah. Q, does he play a role in this thing? WH, answer the question directly. Tell him what you think. A, did he play a role in this? WH, don't hesitate, just tell him. Question, yes. Answer, yeah, I think he did. And later in the interview, Davis said, yeah, I feel, I wish it would never ever, I wish I never met Puff Daddy, period, I swear to God. Question, yeah? Answer, he messed up my life, man. I was rich up and under the radar, all that, man. Question, that's all gone? Answer, it's all gone.
In October 2024, Mr. Shakur appeared on Piers Morgan and Censor to share his thoughts on the investigation. In October 2024, Mr. Shakur said there is a lot more to this case than meets the eye. In October 2024, Mr. Shakur revealed that Diddy personally called him in 2008 to profess his innocence. In October 2024, Mr. Shakur made it clear that the truth is still yet to come out.
Let me ask you a different way, my friend. Because I think I understand why you're being cautious. I understand why you're hiding. Not hiding, but you're using the investigation as a reason.
I'm right here.
No, I don't mean hiding.
I'll
take back the word hiding, but why you're reticent again about potentially saying what is really on your mind. Because you know, and I know, that everyone believes that Diddy was involved in both these shootings and had a direct involvement in your brother's death. That is what the streets have said for 27 years. That's why 50 Cent said it. That's why Eminem has said similar stuff. What's interesting to me about your involvement in this is that Diddy actually called you after an LA Times article in 2008 alleging he'd been involved in your brother's death. What did he say that day when he called you?
He was in town. He was in LA at the time. He was on the radio. He asked a local DJ that we all know, Big Boy, to reach out to me because he wanted to speak to me about something. This is a few years after Pac's murder, and you know, we all were familiar with all the rumors and stuff. I said, yeah, let me talk to him. So he called me, and you know, I had my guys with me, Thug Life guys, and we heard what he had to say. He basically said he ain't have nothing to do with my brother's murder. And I told him the truth is still yet to come out, so we're gonna see. Here we are 27, 28 years later. It looks like there's some doubt in that statement. So, thus, you know, along with all the other suspicions that people have, you know, it was time for it to be investigated.
In a statement at the time, Diddy declared, "This story is a lie, the LA Times story. Neither I nor the late Notorious had any knowledge of any attack on Tupac before, during, or after it happened." Do you think that was an honest statement?
My opinion is that I don't believe it was a 100% honest statement. So again, got to find out what's true and what's false, what's real and what's fake.
Do you think he was lying?
Quite possibly, and it's kind of looking that way.
Shockingly, Diddy has been trying to bury rumors for years. He has allegedly used violence and abuse to intimidate those who questioned him. According to a new lawsuit filed in California, a woman claims Camolmes sexually assaulted her after she suggested he was involved in Tupac's murder. The lawsuit alleges Diddy brought guards and even female celebrity friends to watch while orchestrating the assault. The details are horrifying, showing the lengths he may go to protect his reputation.
She says she believed that Diddy had something to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur and said as much. Allegedly, Diddy warned her that she would pay for saying something like that. So let's just fast forward now to a month later, where she says this guy Shane invited her to come to his apartment. And the lawsuit says, quote, plaintiff and defendant Shane then began to watch a movie, and defendant Shane offered her a glass of water, which he retrieved and brought back to the plaintiff. A few minutes later, Ashley Parham says that P. Diddy showed up with an entourage, including his top aide, Christina Coram, an unnamed woman who is not a defendant in the suit, and 3 unnamed men, one of whom she says was Diddy's driver, and Parham says that driver waited outside throughout the whole of what I'm about to tell you. Parham says that Diddy was antagonistic from the start and that he put a knife to her face. And now this is where I start reading directly from the complaint. Defendant Shane then partially undressed plaintiff, and then defendant Diddy removed the remainder of plaintiff's clothing, removing the knife from her face, and then retrieved a bottle of liquid from a large fanny pack. Defendant Diddy then squirted a bottle of liquid on plaintiff, which placed her in fear that she was being squirted with a chemical substance like acid. Plaintiff soon realized the substance was an oil/lubricant. Plaintiff was squirted with this liquid substance all over the entirety of her naked body. Defendant KK was then told by defendant Diddy to insert what looked like a syringe from sterile packaging into plaintiff's vagina. Defendant KK did as told, and then told defendant Diddy that she was unable to use the IUD because it had prematurely been released from its packaging, and an IUD is a birth control device. Defendant Diddy, upset by this, took the so-called syringe from defendant KK and tried inserting it into plaintiff's vagina instead. Defendant KK and Diddy began to argue as defendant KK continued to advise defendant Diddy that since the IUD had been prematurely released from its packaging, there was no way they could insert it into plaintiff's vagina effectively. After some time, defendant Diddy heeded the advice of defendant KK and removed the syringe from plaintiff's vagina and handed it to defendant KK. Defendants KK and Jane Doe then exited defendant Shane's residence, leaving the plaintiff alone with defendants Diddy, Shane, and Doe's number 1 and 2. Defendant Diddy then picked up a television remote that was near to plaintiff and violently inserted it into plaintiff's vagina. Defendant Diddy, while violently raping plaintiff with a television remote, told plaintiff that her life was in his hands and that if he wanted, he could, quote, take her, and she would never be seen again. Plaintiff began hysterically crying from the threats by Diddy, along with the pain of being violently, vaginally raped by defendant Diddy with the television remote, as well as the lingering pain from the ordeal with the IUD syringe insertion. Defendant Diddy then instructed defendant Shane to turn plaintiff on her stomach, seemingly tired of hearing plaintiff's blood-curdling cries. Defendant Shane then grabbed plaintiff by her abdomen and hips and turned plaintiff on her stomach. Defendant Diddy then instructed defendant Shane to put a pillow over her head because he didn't want to see her face or hear her cries, and instructed defendant Shane to anally rape plaintiff. Defendant Shane did as he was told by defendant Diddy and began to anally rape plaintiff. Defendant Diddy then violently raped plaintiff anally after defendant Shane.